Jiro was a seemingly average boy living in modern-day Japan. But one day he realized that he could talk to animals, and the world was never the same again. He used to get into fights with the other boys who used to bully him in primary school, claiming that he is some sort of a freak, but Jiro was not one to back down, and would end up fighting them every other day. One day he came back from another fight at the school and sat beside his family dog Nachai, who asks him kindly whether he ended up fighting again. And Jiro replies that the boys at school call him a freak, so he has no other choice but to fight. Nachai talks to him in a calm voice, claiming that he shouldn't take their words to heart, as one day he would realize how incredible the power that he possesses is. Several years pass by and Jiro is a young strapping man now. But one thing hasn't changed at all: his ability to get into fights for absolutely no reason. He walks up to 3 high school punks beneath a bridge who warn him that their senpai is the head of the Demon League. But Jiro seems completely unbothered as he picks his nose, and replies that he doesn't care and think that his senpai is just a prick and nothing else. Hearing this, the goon gets mad and tries to punch Jiro, but he is too fast for the punk and dodges the hit easily before kicking the man down into the river. The other 2 boys get a little scared, wondering what kind of ninja moves were that. But Jiro is not someone who backs off easily and starts teasing the other 2 guys as well, forcing them into a fight. Both of them decide to attack him together, but they are no match for Jiro, who easily outclasses them and sends them all running beaten and wet. Suddenly Jiro hears the voice of someone from behind, thanking him for the help, and he turns around to see a crow and a cat walk up to him. The cat thanks him once again, claiming that lately those goons have been creating a lot of problem for them, but the cat is more worried about Jiro, as the goons might decide to take revenge on Jiro sooner or later. Jiro tells them not to worry about it, as he knows how to move around these situations. With that, he bids them goodbye and moves back towards his house. He finds his dad waiting for him, and immediately figures out that Jiro got into a fight once again. He starts shouting at him, claiming that he didn't teach him the art of being a ninja just so that he could act like a worthless punk and beat people up. Jiro gets mad and snaps back, claiming that no one cares about ninjas anymore and they are just a waste of time. This makes his dad mad, and he shoots some throwing spikes at him in anger, which Jiro quickly dodges. His father takes out a katana and tells him that this is a family heirloom which has been passed down their bloodline from the Edo period, when their family received it from the shogun himself for bravery on the battlefield. He tells Jiro to act like an adult, as he is the one who would carry forward their family line. But Jiro smirks at his dad, claiming that the sword must be a harmless fake and nothing else. This pisses his dad off, and he unsheathes the blade, ready to show his son how real the sword is, while Jiro runs around and begs for forgiveness. After all was said and done, the dad forces Jiro to clean everything up and tells him that he is going to the town association meeting and won't be back till late at night, so he should lock up before sleeping. Jiro murmurs that he is not a child when suddenly the crow from earlier reappears and shouts at Jiro that they have an emergency. He claims that a cat in the woods seems to be in terrible condition and quickly leads Jiro through the forest, where he finds the cat laying on the soil in a puddle of blood. Jiro realizes that the cat is still alive somehow and wonders what might have resulted in this. He calls onto the cat, trying to make sure that it's still alive, and suddenly something happens inside the soul of the cat, as it seems like a demonic being just woke up. Jiro takes the cat back home and patches it up enough that it regains its strength slowly and finally opens his eyes. Jiro enters the room with some cat food and notices that the cat seems to have passed the most dangerous stage and should be fine now. He asks the cat what his name is, claiming that even stray animals have their own names, and the cat replies sarcastically that even if he told him his name, the humans are too stupid to understand any other language. Unbeknownst to him, Jiro is capable of understanding animal speech, and this freaks the cat out, and it hides beneath the bed, refusing to come out. Jiro tries to coax the cat out, claiming that he knows that the cat might be a little surprised, but he shouldn't be worried as Jiro is completely harmless. The cat feels for any sort of spectral energy but can't feel any, which means that Jiro is just a normal human. But he can't understand how the hell can he understand animal tongue. Jiro finally decides to try some other way out and brings out his secret weapon, which is kitty treats. It doesn't take long for the cat to come out and start chowing down on the meal, while Jiro sits beside him, pleased with himself. After finishing the meal, the cat looks at Jiro, claiming that he is not a cat, but an immortal named Rago. People also call them a mononoke. Jiro is confused. What the hell is the cat talking about? But Rago explains that Mononokes are magical beings that can take the shape of a human or an animal at will, and most of the humans have no idea about it. Some of them live amongst humans, while others prefer living in solitudes in the mountains or the woods. Jiro asks how he got injured, and Rago replies that he was attacked by another Mononoke. Jiro asks how did that happen, and Rago replies that he doesn't have a good idea. He just knows that he was in a deep sleep for a long time, and he was woken up from his slumber and found himself completely surrounded. They wanted his assistance, but Rago declined, so they ganged up on him and beat him to an inch of his life. Jiro asks why did he not help them, since they were also Mononokes, but Rago replies that he hates creatures like that, parasites that hide their weakness by hiding behind someone stronger. That strikes a chord with Jiro, while Rago claims that he probably doesn't even believe him, so it doesn't matter. Jiro accepts that right now none of this makes any sense to him. But that doesn't mean that he won't believe Rago. He claims that he can talk to animals, which is already weird enough, so he doesn't have to believe in something as weird as a Mononoke. Later that evening, Jiro gives Rago a good shower to make sure that he is clean, and notices that Rago's wounds have already healed completely. He claims that now he believes that he is definitely not an ordinary cat, because earlier he just thought that the cat was just spouting nonsense as many people do when they are dying. He claims that Rago reminds him of his old dog Nachai, even though they are complete opposite in personality, as Nachai was a really good dog. He claims that back then, he would get bullied often and would come back home with scrapes and cuts. Nachai would ask him to help her take a bath, and while doing that, Jiro would forget about everything that happened during the day and get relaxed again. Later that night, Jiro goes to bed, and around midnight, Rago gets up on the window and says his goodbye to Jiro, claiming that he owes him for saving his life. But right now, he needs to leave. Rago jumps down the window and realizes that even though his wounds have been healed, he is still not at the same strength as before. Before he could walk away though, Jiro appears behind him yawning, asking where is Rago going. This scares the daylights out of Rago, who asks how the hell could he get down so quickly. Jiro doesn't really care to answer though, and asks where does Rago think he is going in that condition. Rago claims that it's none of his business, and Jiro replies that he is the one who saved him. Rago replies he never asked to be saved. Jiro did everything of his own accord, and besides, he wouldn't have minded dying back there in the forest. Jiro asks why he says so, and Rago again replies that it's none of Jiro's business. Jiro gets mad and claims that he won't let Rago go till he gets an answer. But this pisses Rago off, who turns around bursting with demonic energy as he tells Jiro to shut the hell up and go back to sleep before he turns his windpipe into a personal scratching post. He tells Jiro that he shouldn't forget that he is a Mononoke, a human-eating specter, so it would be best that he gets away from him as soon as possible. Jiro is shocked to hear that, and just then another voice interrupts them. Jiro turns around and spots a huge man standing in the yard alongside them. Rago realizes that he missed his opportunity to run away, while Jiro turns around to face the huge man and asks whether he likes to enter other people's houses uninvited. The man claims that Jiro should shut his mouth as he is going to be devoured soon enough. With that, he turns his arm into a demonic arm and tries to snap Jiro in half. But Rago drop kicks Jiro out of the way and takes off into the forest, forcing the huge Mononoke to chase after him. Jiro is too stunned to move, while Rago tries his best to outrun the beast after him, knowing that all he has to do is get some distance. But because of his injuries, he is not at his full strength yet, and the huge Mononoke thrashes him mid-air down to the ground. The Mononoke laughs at Rago, claiming that he is not very impressed by the legendary Star of Doom, Rago, and tells him to calmly come with him as he wouldn't want to kill a fellow Mononoke. Rago gets mad and starts bursting with demonic energy as he claims that all they want to do is get his powers, so if they are willing to pay for it with their lives, they are welcome to take him back. Both the demons get ready for a showdown, but just when they were about to clash, Jiro shows out of nowhere with his sword and slashes at the man's arm, forcing him back as he starts bleeding. Rago is shocked and asks Jiro whether he has a death wish and tells him to run away. Jiro claims that if Rago dies now, then whatever he did to save him would be for nothing, and he won't let that happen. Rago angrily tells him to get away as this is not a street scuffle between boys, but it's too late now. The giant demon gets mad and transforms into a weird Bigfoot-looking monster. The huge monster is amazed that Jiro doesn't seem to be fazed by his huge size or the fact that he is a human-eating demon, so he attacks Jiro outright to see what he can do. Rago thinks that Jiro is done for, but to his surprise, Jiro manages to escape and appears behind him with a sword. What Jiro didn't expect was the monster to be so fast, as he appeared behind Jiro mid-air and stabbed him with his finger, making a shish kebab out of him. Jiro starts spouting blood, but still he tries to swing his sword, but the monster is too quick and dodges it again. Jiro falls to the ground in a pool of his own blood, and the life starts to drain out of his eyes. Rago walks up to him completely stunned, thinking about how weird of a human Jiro was. He saved a Mononoke for no reason, and was willing to give his life away to save a beast who would eat him the moment he gets a chance. The Bigfoot monster laughs at Jiro and tells Rago that he must haven't eaten food for a while and must be hungry, so he should eat the human and get back his strength so they could have a better fight. Rago turns around with anger in his eyes and tells the Mononoke to shut his trap, claiming that he is going to die soon. With that, he thinks about how he can eat Jiro and get back to full strength, but he won't do it, not after what he has done for a Mononoke. Instead, Rago collects all of his spectral power and dumps it into Jiro, sacrificing his own form to save Jiro's life. The monster is horrified as he screams at Rago, asking how could he give away his powers to a human. But Rago tells him to shut up and Jiro stands up once again. He has no idea what the hell is happening. But Rago tells him to focus on the fight right now. He dodges the monster's continuous attacks while Rago tells him to get ready to attack. Jiro claims that there is no way he could do anything to that monster. But Rago tells him not to worry and just punch the Mononoke at the right moment. Jiro believes in him and matches the timing perfectly. With Rago's powers, he completely obliterates the monster, tearing him in 2 pieces and killing him. Before he could understand what has happened to him though, a woman pulls a knife on him and tells him not to move. Suddenly, a guy appears smoking a cig and tells him not to worry as they are not Mononokes, but just your average civil servants from the Department of Espionage. He claims that they are taking Jiro into custody, but Jiro tries to talk back and immediately gets hit on the back of the head by the woman, knocking him out cold. The soldiers that are dressed up like stormtroopers start bickering amongst themselves about who will handle Jiro's unconscious body as they are scared of him. But before they could reach a decision, the woman who pulled up a knife on Jiro decides to take care of the situation as she dragged Jiro by his leg, as if he is a carcass that she just shot. Meanwhile, Jiro is lost in his dreams where he finds himself in a completely white area and spots Rago standing in front of him, looking like a mist. Rago claims that Jiro himself has a huge gaping hole in his chest, and that confuses Rago till he looks down at himself and spots a huge hole. But before he could get worried about it, he ends up opening his eyes and finds himself in a hospital bed with a headache. He sits up on the bed and checks his chest to make sure that there is no hole there, when a voice startles him. The girl who carried him back sits beside him, on her phone scrolling through reels as she tells Jiro that he has been asleep for more than a day and a half and introduces herself as Ikai. Before Jiro could ask any more questions, she straight up calls her superior and informs him Jiro has woken up and seems aware enough to have a conversation. Just then she gets distracted when a back mist escapes from Jiro and takes shape of a cat on top of his head. Jiro is annoyed at Rago for sitting on his head and the two start bickering all over again, while the girl tries to calm both of them down, claiming that this is a hospital. A little while later, the senior enters the hospital room and finally manages to calm both of them down, before telling Jiro that he is one tough boy, as any normal man wouldn't have been able to survive what he has gone through. With that, he turns towards Rago, who looks like a dark spirit, and asks how is he feeling. But Rago is much more skeptical about these people, and tells the man to mind his own business if he cares for his own life. The man realizes that Rago is much more careful than he anticipated and doesn't trust him. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to mean any true harm either. To gain their trust, the man decides to do a round of formal introductions and introduces himself as Shiba from the Bureau of Espionage. Jiro butts in, claiming that he knows who he is working for, as he said that already before. What Jiro wants to know right now is why they were taken in by them. Shiba is surprised that Jiro remembers all that even after being bonked on the head. He turns towards him and asks whether he knows anything about a group called Oniwaban. Jiro raises an eyebrow as he has heard his dad talk about them, and replies that he knows that they existed during the Edo shogunate and were undercover agents selected by the shogun himself. Shiba is honestly surprised that Jiro knows all that, and replies that their job didn't end with the Edo period. In fact, they were carried forward through time, even to this modern day where they are known as the Bureau of Espionage. He claims that finding intelligence and counterintelligence in their own country and outside the country is their bread and butter, and moreover, their job is also to find and destroy the Mononoke. He continues that Mononokes rarely create any big incidents, and big incidents are generally caused by humans themselves, so most of the time their job revolves around guarding VIPs and investigating dangerous organizations. Shiba claims that his particular department focuses on the Mononokes, which means that usually he doesn't have to do much, but recently their facility was attacked by a gang of Mononokes, while the very Rago that was inside Jiro's body now was in the facility, sealed up. Jiro realizes that this is what Rago meant when he claimed that he was in a deep slumber and was woken up abruptly. With that, Shiba claims that it's his turn now to ask the questions and asks how exactly did Jiro end up with Rago inside of him. Jiro tells them the entire story, and the girl Ikai is beyond shocked. She asks how stupid can Jiro be for putting his nose in a business that doesn't concern him, and then even trying to save a Mononoke no less. Jiro snaps back, telling her to shut her mouth, as she wasn't there and doesn't know the situation. Shiba breaks their fight and tells Jiro that he might know this already, but Rago's fusion with him might be permanent and there might be no way to revert them to their normal state, but at the same time they must try to see what they can do and gain more information. Moreover, they know that the gang of Mononokes want Rago, but they don't know why exactly. So the Bureau will be taking Jiro under their protection for the time being. Jiro doesn't like the sound of that, but Shiba claims that he doesn't really have much of a choice as a missing persons complaint has already been registered for him. He claims that Jiro will be shifted to a different facility the next day and warns that the hospital has multiple guards, so trying to escape would be completely useless. Jiro sits inside his hospital room all alone, bored out of his mind, thinking whether he will always be stuck in solitary confinement like this. Rago laughs, claiming that he warned Jiro not to get involved, but he didn't listen. He claims that the Bureau is the one who sealed him away, so they are not going to treat Jiro like a human, and moreover the Mononokes who wanted to use Rago's powers are still out there, and they won't sit with their hands tied and will surely try to get to Jiro. Before Rago could even finish though, Jiro starts throwing a tantrum and gets up from the bed telling Rago to be ready as they are breaking out of here. He claims that he is not going to sit and let someone else dictate what he can and can't do. Rago claims that there are guards waiting outside the room, and he is not going to help Jiro get out of another mess that he creates. Jiro claims that he will manage everything by himself and looks at the crows sitting outside the window. Outside the room, 2 special agents are posted to keep an eye on everything, when suddenly they overhear a bunch of ruckus coming from inside. So they open the door only to get attacked by a bunch of crows at Jiro's command. Jiro runs out past them and escapes out of the hospital to his freedom. By the time sun was setting, he was on a bridge a little distance away from the hospital, thanking the crows for their help and hands over a plastic bag of snacks in return for their help. With that, Jiro returns back to his home to find his dad, but his dad ends up finding him instead right outside his home. Jiro tries to come up with an excuse, but his dad doesn't respond and tells him to follow. Jiro walks behind his dad, who leads him to an empty ground, and when Jiro asks why the hell did he bring him here, he receives a punch to his face, which sends him flying to the ground. Jiro apologizes for being missing for 2 days, but his father claims that Shiba has told him everything, and how he was taken by the Bureau of Espionage. He claims that he can't believe his own son is merged up with a Mononoke. Jiro is surprised and asks how the hell does he know all this, and his father replies that he knows everything because he himself was a member of the Bureau of Espionage once. Suddenly Rago comes outside of Jiro in his spectral form, claiming that he did feel weird about the old man and his deadly intent, and now he knows why he felt like that. The old man replies that he is not going to let the Bureau or a Mononoke exploit him, so instead he is going to kill Jiro and Rago before taking his own life as well. With that, he starts powering up while Jiro has no idea what to do. His father explodes into motion and tries to land an axe kick, but Jiro dodges away. It was not enough though, as the old man closes the distance before Jiro could ever react and lands a combo of punches that Jiro is not able to block. He falls to the ground again, bleeding from his mouth and breathing hard, while the old man claims that he was able to teach Jiro enough for self-defense and still had to train him into becoming a full-fledged warrior. But that dream will stay a dream. With that, he explodes into motion and jumps to finish Jiro off. But Rago intervenes and uses his spectral claw to block the attack and push the old man back. He tells Jiro that the old man really intends to kill him, so he should start taking it seriously. Jiro gets pissed though and tells Rago not to come out till he tells him to. He thinks about the time when he was young and would climb a tree to save a kitten, but didn't know how to get down. His father was always there to catch him in case things went awry. He got scolded about it, but his father was always there. The old man looks at him menacingly, claiming that for years he fought against his fellow men and the Mononoke in the Shadow Realm, a realm which is hell itself, and he did all he could to make sure that Jiro was kept away from that. But now he has spilled water all over his plan by meddling into things that he shouldn't have. Jiro smiles, claiming that he has no regret and promises to get out of this situation on his own. The old man gets pissed and rushes at him to land a punch, but instead of dodging, he headbutts the punch to try and slow down the momentum. But the old man is too strong, and Jiro is thrown back. Thankfully, he regains his balance mid-air and stands once again, blood running down his forehead. The old man realizes that Jiro is not going to back down even if he dies, and decides that he can't do anything about it. He admits defeat, claiming that he is the one who lacks the resolve, before walking off the ground. By the time night falls, Jiro is back in his hot tub, enjoying a soak when Rago tells him not to go running to the death's door so eagerly because then Rago saving his life would be completely meaningless. Jiro smiles and calls Rago his partner, claiming that now they are both in it together. Meanwhile, the old man gets a call from Shiba, who claims that they were worried when Jiro escaped the hospital. But if he is at his home, then everything should be alright. He claims that they are going to send in a car tomorrow to pick Jiro up, as he is now going to be one of them, and someone that they very desperately need. The next morning, he wakes up early to pack everything up, while Rago questions whether he thinks this is a good idea. Jiro, on the other hand, doesn't seem like a person who cares too much about thinking things through, but Rago warns him that he has no idea what these people are, and now that he has Rago's powers as well, he is one of a kind, and they have no idea what these people might or might not do to him. Jiro smirks, asking whether Rago is developing a soft spot for him, but Rago immediately tells him to shut his mouth. By the time he packs everything up and goes down to meet his dad, Ichai arrives looking all annoyed, claiming that she is here as his guard and chaperone to make sure that he doesn't do anything idiotic like running away. She shows him that the company truck is waiting outside and that he will ride in the back with her. Jiro gets annoyed by how she looks at him as if he was an insect, and turns around to say goodbye to his old man before leaving with Ichai. His dad tells him not to die, and Jiro tells him that it's not that easy to kill him before leaving his house to start his new journey. As soon as they get inside the truck and it starts moving, Ichai puts on a pair of handcuffs on Jiro, surprising him as he asks why the hell is he being treated like a prisoner. Ichai wonders out loud, why the hell did she get the job of escorting this idiot, and claims that he feels like a prisoner because he basically is a prisoner. Jiro is confused and asks what the hell is she talking about. Ichai replies that the Bureau is an agency made to fight against the Mononoke, and right now, he is half human and half Mononoke, so technically he is nothing but a prisoner Mononoke for them. She claims that she has no idea what the higher-ups see in him for allocating so many resources on him, but she takes her work very seriously and will do everything as it needs to be done. Jiro looks at her and claims that he is being nice to her just because she is a girl, and if she was a guy, he would have dealt with her by now. This enraged her as she punches the truck wall right beside his face, causing a dent and scaring the crap out of him. She tells him that there are two things that she hates the most. Number one is Mononokes, and number two is sexist pricks like Jiro. She tells him that to her he doesn't even exist, so it would be better for him to shut his dumb ass up so she could do her work in peace. Just then Rago appears beside Jiro, telling the girl to shut her trap as he was trying to nap, but clearly the two of them are not going to let him have any sleep. He looks at the girl, claiming that the Bureau must be really short-handed if they sent just one girl to guard them. Ichai looks at him with disgust and tells him that she doesn't talk to dirty Mononokes, but Rago continues, claiming that she has other issues to deal with right now. Meanwhile, the two drivers that were driving the truck start getting into an area which seems to be covered with thick fog. One of them wonders why there's so much mist here, but the driver claims that they are heading towards a mountain, and the mist must be coming from there. Suddenly, the driver spots someone standing in the fog in the middle of the road. He turns around to tell the other guy beside him, but the moment he turns his head, he sees that a man with some weird glasses has taken off the head from the body of his friend. Inside the back of the truck, they suddenly hear a scream and a loud jolt that completely sends them sprawling as the lights start flickering. Ichai realizes that something has gone horribly wrong. She gets up and tells Jiro to stay inside the truck while she goes out to investigate, and Jiro tries to protest, but she shuts the door and climbs out. She looks around and realizes that they have entered Spectral Mist Zone. She was starting to wonder how the hell could she make such a big mistake when suddenly she hears a voice coming from behind and spots the man with the weird glasses sitting on top of a giant man-looking creature devouring the two drivers. He claims that he was pretty excited for this mission, hoping to get some good action against the Bureau, but all he got was two useless drivers and a guard that to a female. Ichai gets annoyed, mumbling that all men are misogynistic and sexist pricks before tapping on her watch and transforming into her battle uniform. which doesn't look much different to be honest from her normal look. The glasses boy finally gets excited and tells the giant idiot to stop chewing like a moron as they have to fight again. Suddenly, the mist covers them once again and they turn into their Mononoke form. Ichai immediately takes out her gun and starts shooting as if she is in an American high school. But the giant doesn't seem to be affected in the least, as he simply blocks everything off with his arms. Meanwhile, the other guy uses the distraction and attacks her from behind. She manages to dodge it, but is thrown towards the giant, so she quickly takes her knife out and stabs it in the giant's fist, barely saving herself while trying to slash him as well. She lands back on her feet and realizes that this isn't going to be easy, as she is against two Mononokes and both seem to have their own special abilities. She realizes that the giant is an idiot and doesn't really use his brain, but he is hard as a rock. Meanwhile, the thinner one is the brains of this operation. While she was thinking all this though, the thinner Mononoke appears behind her and punches her straight into the truck. Inside, Jiro feels the thud of Ichai hitting against the truck and wonders what's going on outside. Rago claims that they are being attacked by Mononoke. He continues that while Jiro was yapping with that girl, Rago sensed that they have entered a spectral zone. Jiro has no idea what is he talking about. He makes it easier for Jiro and tells him that the spectral zone is basically an area which is separated from the human dimension and is the realm of the Mononoke. Jiro still doesn't really understand, but tells Rago to help him bust out of these cuffs so he could go outside and help the girl. Rago tells him that he can't do that because these handcuffs are specialized tools and are used to block spectral energy, so he can't do anything right now. Jiro gets pissed and claims that he will get Ichai to take them off then. But Rago claims that he should just let the Bureau and the Mononoke fight it out while they scram, because to both of them, Jiro is nothing but a piece of meat to be used and experimented on. So why should he get involved? Jiro claims that there is a person fighting outside for their safety, and he can't call himself a man if he sits inside twiddling his thumbs and doing nothing. Just then, the conversation gets interrupted by the giant punching the back of the truck, splitting it in two, causing Jiro to be sent flying. The thin Mononoke jumps on top of the truck and looks at Jiro, claiming that for some reason he was told to get him back alive, but he doesn't really care much. He still gives Jiro 10 seconds to make a decision, whether he would surrender peacefully or become food for them. Jiro immediately turns to Ichai and tells her to untie him, but Ichai refuses. Jiro gets mad, calling her insane, but the thinner Mononoke claims that 10 seconds are over, and now he is going to be eaten whether he likes it or not. Jiro again tells Ichai to get him out of these cuffs, and the tense situation reminds her of her childhood. At the funeral of her own mother, who died trying to defend people against Mononoke for the Bureau, she remembers how she promised her father that she will start training from that day on and make both him and her mother proud. Ichai snaps her out of her memories, as he tells her that he knows that she wants to do her duty perfectly, and right now, that means freeing him from his cuffs. Just as the giant was about to attack again, Ichai takes a deep breath and cuts him out of his handcuffs, releasing all his powers. Jiro immediately jumps up in the air, and alongside Rago's powers, delivers such a powerful punch that the fatty completely evaporates from Earth. The thin bloke is shocked to see his powers, and Ichai takes advantage of that, appearing behind him and slashing him to bits with her blade. Jiro gets back up and tells Ichai that she fought for them and he fought to help her, so that makes them even. Ichai looks at him with a bit more respect and claims that now that the truck is gone, they don't have much of a choice but to walk the rest of the way. It takes them a full day before they are able to reach the headquarters. The next morning, Jiro wakes up near the pier and starts brushing while thinking about everything that has happened to him in the matter of a single week. He found the existence of Mononokes, got attacked by them twice, and now he is here. His thoughts are interrupted by Shiba, who asks how is Jiro liking it here. Jiro claims that he hasn't had a single moment to himself, as he is always being monitored. But Shiba claims that it was for the safety of himself and the organization. He claims that this is the headquarters for the second squad, in which he will also start working as an agent, and their group is going to be called Black Torch. Jiro isn't much interested in all this, and Shiba wonders how to get him to work with them as a team. Suddenly, a car pulls up and a young woman walks out of it, bidding them good morning. Shiba introduces her as the assistant chief named Hana, and alongside that another desperate young man roughly Jiro's age also comes out of the car, simping for Hana and talking about how amazing she is. Shiba claims that the dispo is named Ray. He is also a rookie who is joining them, but he hails from a notable spy family just like Ichai. Jiro immediately doesn't like the look of him. Once inside the warehouse, Ray approaches Ichai and calls her beautiful, which makes her blush, while he looks at Jiro with disgust, asking how the hell did a no one like him get in his unit. Jiro gets up and things were starting to heat up, when Shiba tells them that this is the perfect time and organizes a fight between them. They move outside of the warehouse and get ready for a showdown to prove who is the real man of the group. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.